What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time, we're going to be taking a look at Mean Streets, directed by Martin Scorsese, and this is the first collaboration he did with Robert De Niro. This film also stars Harvey Keitel. All right, so I'm going to make this review very short as I can. I don't really have a whole lot to say about Mean Streets, but overall, I thought this movie was pretty good. It's okay. Um, it's definitely not a one of Scorsese's weaker films. Like I get why people liked it. I get why people like it. You know, it's a very for its time. This movie has a lot of innovative techniques to it with the filming, and it's a gritty crime drama, and the cinematography really heightens that gritty aesthetic this film has. But and the performances of this movie, they're all great. Keitel and De Niro. Harvey Keitel plays a guy called Charlie who's going up the ranks in the local mob. I thought Keitel did a great job, and Robert De Niro plays Johnny Boy, who is a friend of Charlie, but he's pretty much a gambler who gets in trouble with loan sharks, pretty much. And this movie does not have a whole lot of plot to it. If anything, the majority of Charlie's time, he's just trying to save Johnny Boy from the loan shark. This loan shark named Michael, who's trying to get money from Johnny Boy that Johnny Boy owes him. So that's pretty much that. And there's also a subplot where Charlie is with this girl named Teresa, who's actually the cousin of Johnny Boy, and they're trying to keep their relationship hush hush because both the families will not agree with one another. So that's that. So yeah, from a story standpoint, there's not really a whole lot going on. From an acting standpoint, everyone in the cast did a great job. But this movie's strong suit is its visual style, is the visual aesthetic. Like I said, the cinematography in this movie is fantastic. It gives New York a very gritty, grounded feel. The Martin Scorsese's direction is, this is one of his earlier films, but you can see the genesis of what was to be Martin Scorsese's career within this movie. Particularly within the crime drama genre that Scorsese has became really very famous for. You have all that with this movie. You got the mob, you have the New York setting. The gritty underbelly of New York. Like I said, the aesthetic of this movie is fantastic. And this movie is told from the 1973 lens, the movie it was made in. So you see New York in that time, and looking back at it now, it was a different time back then. It really was a different time back then, particularly with how people treated one another, how everyone acted towards one another. It was a completely different time. But looking back at it from a movie standpoint, it works for the I guess what Martin Scorsese was trying to go for with this movie. I know this movie is one of his more autobiographical films. Uh, Again, to me, there's not really a whole lot to go. There's not a lot of story here for me to really go over. Like I said, there are certain subplots in this movie that I thought were just pretty good. The biggest strong point for this movie really is Keitel and De Niro. They steal every scene that they're in. This is one of De Niro's earlier roles, but this was the role that that pretty much helped catapult him, or was to become Robert De Niro's career. Johnny Boy was the first big role that got him recognition. And then that led to the career that we know with Taxi Driver and the Scorsese stuff and so on and so forth. And I always considered Harvey Keitel to be one of the most underrated actors in cinema. I don't think Keitel ever got enough credit for just how good of a talent he really was behind when it comes to the acting department. Because I thought he played his role fairly well, and I do like the chemistry between De Niro and Keitel. They play really well off one another. I like the dynamics. I buy them as being friends, but I also buy them being friends with a lot of hostilities. And I do like the supporting cast that surrounds him as well. I like the actor who plays Michael, the loan shark. I thought he was pretty good, and I like the character called Tony. I thought he was fine too, and everyone else in this movie, they're pretty good all unto themselves. So yeah, this is a very lackluster review, but like I said, it's not really a whole lot to talk about when it comes to Mean Streets. This movie is just an exercise in Martin Scorsese's early days and what was to become the legendary career and the body of work that he ended up happening. It all really started with Mean Streets. I know there were movies prior to that, but Mean Streets was what really got the ball rolling on Scorsese's career. And you can see, and this movie encapsulates what would become, from his techniques to the genre of film to his writing sensibilities. It all starts with Mean Streets. So, with that, I'm going to give it, for its cultural impact and what it means in the long run, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I do like it. Again, story-wise, it's really, really weak in the story department. It's not one of Scorsese's strongest points, but this movie does have some. This movie is historically important for what it did in terms of, you know, the careers of Scorsese and De Niro, and popularizing the crime genre of film, the gangster movie, if you will. So yeah, for what it represented, 8 out of 10. By itself, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's good, not great. You can watch it once and you're not going to regret it, because it's got some good moments in it here and there. It does got some, and it has a really bloody shootout near the end, which is pretty cool too. So yeah, overall 8 out of 10. By itself, 6.5. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Martin Scorsese's Mean Streets. Sorry if this review was lackluster, but I really didn't have a whole lot to say about this thing. Anyway, yeah, those are my thoughts on Mean Streets. If you like this movie, let me know in the comment sections down below. If you don't like this movie, let me know in the comment sections down below. If you've never seen this movie, let me know why in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.